what's the current like impact on let's say business of virtual reality? You know, where do we find that now?
Right now, it's primarily in marketing, but that's evolving rapidly. And with Elon Musk's announcement about brain-computer interfacing and things like that, we could actually be looking at a point in time where we're projecting parts of a virtual world into your everyday consciousness. For example, you might see somebody that looks like they're standing right in front of you and talking to you, who really isn't there. It's a projection into your mind.
I take 3 pills a day, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's funny.
I like that too. But you know, the possibilities are actually whatever you can imagine. In fact, in programming, which this is really all based on, we have adopted the engineers' kind of wisdom that if you can dream it precisely enough, it can be built. And that's really what we're doing with virtual reality. It's really hard to imagine what somebody else is imagining. I know what I want, but somebody else might want a virtual dance club,
right?
And it's really hard to imagine. I could see, for example, one of the reasons I developed Virtual Worlds Grid is in the back of my mind I was kind of hoping that the users would spontaneously develop an in-world government that would act as a template we could use for real-world governments. All they wanted to do was play.
Yes, of course.
Which might be exactly what we really need in the real world.
Well, maybe the government at least needs to understand that all that we all want to do really is just play.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
We're monkeys on the playground.
I think we're more serious than that, but it was an eye-opener for me.
No, I meant we are, me and Chauncey. But
okay.
Just speaking for us.
Yeah.
You're different,
okay.
I'm sure.
So what you're saying
I
is...
don't know if I'm that much different.
So when you say that this is in marketing, I'm assuming that you're talking about like virtual assistants and chatbots that are actually moving heads and interacting with you and mouthing the words and stuff like that.
Right, and a lot of them now are being driven by artificial intelligence. Actually,
Right.
It's reaching the point where I like to call them digital beings. And some of them are currently at that point where they can handle most things on their own, but they can actually call in to have a human representative merge with them and then learn from the interaction as the human deals with the problem the customer is experiencing or the opportunity that's arising. And we're seeing a lot of virtual projections being used in the stock market to try to mimic real-world situations in order to predict what's going to happen with the stocks later on down the road. But that's actually pretty private to the different companies. It's very...
proprietary and hush-hush.
What's the word?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't really want to share that information.
Well, an example of like that in the real world that we see on a regular basis is forgive my non-technical name for it, but the like noodle maps they show you for the weather for like when the hurricane's coming in, and they show you all the different paths it might potentially take.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We can actually take that a step further. Say you're a gold mining company. With all the vibrations going on the Earth right now, we're taking that data and mapping the different densities of the materials inside of the Earth and becoming more and more precise. It'll actually reach the point where we can have a virtual projection of the Earth or maybe a piece of property and actually filter out all the different densities to see where the gold is.
Yeah, I used to have an office that I shared in a building, and another one of the companies in the office actually did like terrain mapping for the government and fire and stuff like that, where they would actually fly over and map it with drones and create 3D situations of the thing where they could remove the trees and see the terrain and sort of come up with expectations about the way fires would go and how they would stop them.
Correct. And they're using LiDAR now with satellites to create virtual images of the ground without the vegetation to find ancient structures.
Yeah, that's definitely
awesome.
an interest of mine.
Yes.